I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority.
Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority. I'm going to take you on a little journey today. We're going to discover some things together. I've already got the lead on this just a little bit, and I've spoken about it, this related subject, in previous videos. But we're going to look further into a subject. Now, what is the subject for y'all, those of you that are deciding whether to continue watching or not? The subject matter in general is giants of old, but also giants of today. And what we're going to do, and I don't know where this is going to lead us, but I've seen the beginning of it, so that's why we're doing this. But I'm going to actually go through and we're going to find and do this study together with me recording it while I'm actually doing it. So it may be a little different than how I normally do things, but it should be very interesting. Okay. Giants of old and giants of today. And you may say, well, there are no giants of today. I beg to differ. And if you've watched a few of my previous videos, you probably have an idea of what I'm talking about. But let's find out of a particular type of giant of old. Let's follow his story, okay? And it should become clear as we go through where this is going, because I don't know for sure where this story that we're going to follow. And it's all in Scripture. And even if you're someone who doesn't really read the Bible, you should find this very interesting, okay? If you take the time to listen to and go through this with what we're going to do. Now, let's do it and stop talking about doing it. Okay, where we're at is we are in the book of Genesis, and we're looking at chapter 25, okay? And we're looking at, well, really what we're doing is we're looking at the story of a child of Abraham, or a descendant of Abraham and his wife, okay? And let's come here, and let's start reading at 19, okay? You can go back if you want to and read what's previous to this, but we're following this because we're kind of following one bloodline, one story of, you'll see why. Okay, let's just start reading here. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister of Laban of Syria, or the Syria. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. Okay, so Isaac's wife was barren, Rebekah, right? Isaac took Rebekah to wife, okay? So, and it says, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. Entreated, okay? We're gonna take this slow and easy, kind of. Let's take a look at what entreated means when you go into the Strong's definitions. Okay, here's entreated over here. And we click on that, and it says, and it gives us some root words and some things to look at. But let's look at it here. Okay, it says a primitive root. It says to burn incense in worship, to intercede. Burning incense in worship is an attempt at prayer and to intercede, communicate with God, right? Okay. But it says to intercede. The way the word is pronounced is author. Okay. Okay. Says, reciprocally listen to prayer, entreat, make prayer. Okay, now let's click on the root word. And it gives us another root word, abundance. Either a place in Palestine, ether. Let's look at that root word. It says a primitive root, to be, causatively make, abundant, deceitful, multiply. Okay. So it gives some hints there for us to consider as to what the true meaning is meant here. But obviously God intervened is what's being said here. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived. Okay, verse 22. And the children struggled together in the womb. The children in the womb, meaning children meaning two. Okay. Struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. The older of the 2 shall serve the younger. And it's referring to this maybe not just as in the 2 children, but also it says, because it's talking about 2 nations are in thy womb. What? What does it mean? I think we're going to find out. But let's read this again. This is just so important. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire with the Lord. Got children struggling and fighting within her. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So the one that comes out first shall serve the one who comes out second, is what it's saying. Okay? All right. Let's keep going here. This is going to be fantastic. And I haven't went real deep into where this is going to go, so I don't even know. So I'm excited to find out. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Now, it says twins, but it is obvious that they are not identical twins, okay? They're just partially of the same bloodline. Because one you have to realize here is that it says the Lord intervened and allowed this woman to have a child. Okay? So, was Isaac the father? Or was this immaculate in some way? I mean, our Father in heaven can do anything, right? It sounds like, it's almost like it's saying this is immaculate somehow, but let's just keep going. Let's don't get ahead of ourselves and make complete assumptions here. Okay? So let's go. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like an hairy garment, a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. So Esau was covered in hair all over like a hairy garment. And it was red hair. Okay. That's important to remember. We're talking about someone who is very hairy. Well, you may say, well, maybe it was just a little bit hairy. Well, we'll continue with the story, and I think we'll see a little bit better here in a minute. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. So Isaac was 60, and had Esau come out, and then Esau's brother Jacob came out and took his brother by the heel. Okay. And it says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, a average man, you might say, dwelling in tents. But Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, obviously meaning that he lived in the woods, and his brother Isaac lived in tents. Or excuse me, not his brother, his dad, his dad probably too, but his brother Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So you've got someone who likes to live in the woods, kind of here it sounds like, and someone who likes the city life, kind of, back in those days. And it says, and Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red porridge, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Okay. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. Birthright, meaning Esau came out first. Okay. First child, first male child. Think about how this relates to another immaculate birth that we know about, the birth of Christ. You know, he of course, you know, he was with a mother that had not bared, and then she did, and it was an immaculate birth. And again, I'm not yet saying for sure. I'm just talking here and explaining best I can. Okay, so let's just keep going here. Okay. So sell me your birthright, meaning sell me your right to be the first child, so that then he could be the first child, Jacob. So he would have the birthright. Okay, which means a lot, especially back in those days, but even now. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit should this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him and sold his birthright to Jacob. Now, this is obviously going to come back up in the story here. But let's keep going. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright, meaning he gave it away for a pot of porridge of lentils, basically, to his own brother. Okay, so now let us now go over here to our little search thing, and let's type in Esau. Again, because I want to show you something. Okay, so here we are back. We've got the search of every time that the word Esau shows up in Scripture, and it's 85 times, right? 85 verses at least. And we've read where he had like a hairy garment. We went where he grabbed Esau's heel. Where they were growing up together, and he was a cunning hunter. And then And here it is. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat his venison. So this is 25:28. This was before the eating of the pot, the porridge or whatever. Okay. And then we've got we read 32, 34, 30, or excuse me, 20, Genesis 26, 25 and 26. Now we're coming into 26, so the next chapter. And it says, Genesis 26:34, and Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Bashmath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. Okay. So he took to wife Judith, which was the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Bashmath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And this Elon name may just very well play into this quite a bit. This is about where I stopped and pondered on it a bit as to which direction to take. And what we're going to do is we're going to follow the bloodline of Esau, okay? And, his children, which are his bloodline. So here we have Esau, Genesis 26:34, right here. And we may end up having to come back here and read different things in here as well. But what we're going to do right now is follow Esau. And it says, and Esau was 40 years when he took a wife, Judith. And we read that. Next verse is very, very important. Now it said, so Esau took a wife. And let me just reread this so we make sure we understand the context here. Make sure I understand it. And Esau was 40 years old. Esau was 40 years old when he took a wife, Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Bashmath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and Rebekah. Okay. So Esau taking Judith as a wife, which was the daughter of a Hittite. I'm not quite understanding something here. And this is part of doing it live and understanding it as I do it. It says, took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite. But then it says, and Bashmath, the daughter of Elon. Oh, so he took two wives. Maybe is what it's saying. See, I don't know everything. I'm a child in learning just like you are. So 40 years old, he took the wife Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Bashmath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. Okay. And it says, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and Rebekah. Why would it be a grief of mind to Isaac and Rebekah for Esau to take these wives, Judith and Bashmath, apparently, the daughter of Elon the Hittite? Okay. It's because it's related to their looks, what these women look like, what these females look like. Okay. Now we have Esau. We know he's hairy head to toe. Kind of hairy like, all the stories that are out there about the thing these days we call Bigfoot, right? Sasquatch. There, he's hairy head to toe like that, and he's a mighty man of the woods that goes out and catches deer and eats them and lives in the woods, and his brother likes living in the tent, more comfortable. All right, so we've got that in mind. We know that Isaac and Rebekah were like, oh my God, literally. Okay, so let's go back to our search again here. And we've got Esau right here that took the two wives. And then it says, the next mention of Esau is, it says, and it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here I am. And that's 27, and this is 26. So let's just go back over to, let's go to 27:1, because this is following right up with where this one just ended off over here. We're the very last of 26. So let's just go to 27. Should be the first line. Yep. Okay. So he mentions Esau again. Now, let's keep reading, see what we see. And he said, behold, now I am old. I know not the day of my death. Now, therefore, take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison, and make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, and my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard that Isaac spoke to Esau, his son. So here we got another mention, which would be in that line we were just looking at. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob, her son, which is the second son, which took the birthright from the first son for a bowl of porridge. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat, and bless thee before the Lord, before my death. And now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Now this is the mother speaking to Jacob. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, and that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. So Isaac wanted Esau to go get deer and bring it and fix it for him, and so he could eat it. Then Rebekah hears about this and wants Jacob, the son that basically stole the birthright, right, to go get two baby goats and cook them. So that's where we're at. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, behold, Esau's my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Let me read that again. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. What do you reckon that means? It means exactly what it says. My father peradventure will feel me. My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son, only obey my voice, and go fetch them. So deceive your father upon my command, and go fetch the goats, the baby goats. And he went, and he fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory meats, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. Let's back that up. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, meaning from him. He took, let me read this in real layman language. And Rebekah took some of Esau's important things that he wore and gave them to Esau that were there in the house where they were at. And it says, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hands of her son Jacob. So here's Jacob, and he's got the skins of 2 goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck, and sent him like this to deliver the food to the father. And he came unto his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may be blessed. So Jacob has moved forth into deceiving his father, who is on his deathbed, and pretending that he is Esau. And now we know why he had the kids' goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. He wanted the hair and the likeness, the thickness of the hair of, holy moly, this is amazing. He wanted his father, which was probably about blind, he wanted him, when he touched him, to feel the hairy skins of the goats and believe that was Esau. And this is why he put it upon the smooth of his neck, because she knew that the father would want to touch the back of his son's neck. And I haven't even read this down here. I mean, maybe I've read it in the past, but I haven't read it in the context of I know what's next, because I don't. But this is absolutely fascinating. Wow. Okay. Let's start back at 19. And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, and I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. So he's trying to deceive a blessing of some type from his father by deception, pretending to be the red-haired, completely covered body of his brother. And it's obvious that the skins of the goats were even upon his hands, so that when he touched his father, it would feel like it was a big hairy man. Really, really hairy. Not hairy like anything you've ever seen. But I believe you're getting the story here. Okay. And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because the Lord thy God because the Lord thy God brought it to me. Oh, Lord, he's trying to deceive his father and blaspheming and lying upon God. Holy moly. And Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and felt him, and said, the voice of Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau, because he had the goat skins on his hands. Think about how dramatic the difference would have had to have been from a normal hand, from a typical human as we know it, with smooth hands. And in order to fool his father, he's attempting to have goat skins upon his hands and his body. That's a big difference in hairy and skin texture. We're talking about someone who is as hairy as the legend of a Bigfoot, or as hairy like lots of primates that are out there, right? Okay. The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. This literally reminds me of, it's like the story of the Garden of Eden, right? Deception. Okay, let's keep going. So he brought him the food, and he did eat, and he did drink. And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, meaning the goat. And he blessed him, and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed. Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Here comes the nations back in. You have two people in thy womb of two nations. So here this comes back in. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. This is very reminiscent of the Garden of Eden, because, well, it should be pretty obvious to you here. But now remember how Cain had killed his brother, and God put a mark on him, and he said that anyone who would kill them would be cursed, would try to hurt Cain would be cursed. And now we have Jacob in the position of Cain. So let's read that last part again. And let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out of the presence of Isaac, his father, that Esau, his brother, came back in from his hunting. Oh boy. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless thee. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn, Esau. And Isaac trembled very excitedly, and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison, and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. And he shall be blessed. And he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceedingly bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hath thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine I have sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass that when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So in other words, he's saying, I bless you the same, but you're going to have to serve your brother until it comes to pass when he has dominion, when his brother dies or something like that, right? So that it shall break the yoke off of Esau's neck, meaning the burden of serving his brother. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. Oh, wow. This is the Garden of Eden again. Which makes sense why it seemed like it was an immaculate birth of some kind. Wow. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself purposing to kill thee. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise. Flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days until thy brother's fury turn away, until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forgot that which thou hast done to him. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day? And of course, Rebekah was the woman was the one who set this in motion. All the deception was set in motion in this case by Rebekah, the woman. Sound like the Garden of Eden. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, probably talking about the Hittites, such as these which are the daughters of the land, what good shall my life be to me? So she's saying, well, this gets a little complicated. Let me read it again. That normally helps. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. Let's look at Heth and see what it says about Heth. Daughters of Heth. Yep. Exactly what I expected. Heth. Terror. See the word? Terror. Keth is the word Keth. Pronunciation in Hebrew. The word's definition is terror. Cheth or Cheth. An aboriginal Canaanite. Heth. We're talking about fallen angel bloodline right here. Let's see what the next root definition says. Kothoth, a primitive root, properly to prostrate, hence to break down, either literally or by violence, or by confusion and fear, abolish, affright, be, afraid, amaze, beat down, discourage, cause to, dismay, go down, scare, terrify, which again, back to the word terror. Wow. Okay. So let's go back over here. Let's turn that off. Now let's read it again. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of the giants, or the altered, or the alternate bloodline. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these, which are the daughters of the land, and I'm sure it's referring daughters of the land, meaning like of the woods, of the primitive type, more not considered to be people who live in tents. They're daughters of the land. What good shall my life do me? Okay. Let's go to the next chapter, right? And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaanites, the Heth, the ones we were just talking about. And you learn these things through looking up the Hebrew translations and thinking very slowly without making a decision, keeping options open until you understand more. Arise, go to Padanaram, to the house of Bethel, thy mother's father. And the house of Bethel is also in the areas and surrounding Mount Hermon, where the angels came down upon it. The story of the fallen coming down upon the mountain, right? All these areas are right around it and surround that mountain. Okay. So it says, so they Isaac called Jacob, told him not to take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padanaram in the house of Bethel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. Laban, we're talking about Lebanon, basically. And the women of Lebanon are considered in general to be some of the most beautiful women on earth, especially at the time, I'm sure. Imagine the way we would look at it. Imagine someone looking at the daughters of the land versus the daughters of Lebanon. Be a big difference, probably. From a look standpoint, it doesn't mean one or the other is necessarily a better human or a better creature. Okay. And God Almighty bless thee and make thee fruitful and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people. So we're talking about the building of a nation here, right? We're talking about nations again. And give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham. And Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went to Padanaram and unto Lebanon, basically, son of Bethel, the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob's and Esau's mother. Okay, so let's look at this a little bit closer, make sure we understand what's going on here. So Jacob is going to Lebanon, son of Bethel, the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob's and Esau's mother. So the son of Bethel, the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah. Okay, so Rebekah's brother, which Jacob and Esau was the mother of, or Rebekah was the mother of Jacob and Esau, and they're going over there to the brother of Rebekah. Okay. When Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padanaram to take him a wife from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother, and was gone to Padanaram. And Esau, seeing the daughters of Canaan, pleased not Isaac his father. Okay. So Esau sees that his dad, his father, Isaac, does not like the bloodline of the fallen. That's one way to look at it, one way to say it. There likely are many ways. And I make no judgment necessarily by saying it the way I said it, because I am still open-minded. And Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan, Canaanites, the Hittites, stuff like that, many names for the same similar things, because of there was no internet then, and there was no way for everyone who's seen a certain thing to call it the same thing in all places. That's one of the ways you get many names for the same thing. So Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, Then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael's, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebajoth, to be his wife. Didn't we just read earlier that Esau had already took 2 wives? I'm sure we did. We might have to look back at that, but anyways, let's keep going. Then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebajoth, to be his wife. All right, we got to look at a little bit of the definitions here. Okay. Then went Esau unto Ishmael. Let's just look at that. Okay. Ishmael. Ishmael is the way it's pronounced. Definition gives a couple of sub words or base words. God will hear Ishmael, the name of Abraham's oldest son. So this is Abraham's oldest son, and of 5 Israelites. So Abraham's oldest son. Okay, let's look at the base definitions real quick. To hear intelligently, often with implication of attention, obedience, causally to tell, attentively, call together, carefully, certainly, consent, consider, to be content, declare, diligently, discern, give ear, cause to, let, make to, sounds like to influence. To influence an outcome, kind of like Rebecca is doing, is what this word is coming down to mean. Let's go back and look at the other base word. Strength as objective, mighty, especially the Almighty, but used also of any deity, God, goodly, great, idle, mighty, power, strong. Compare names to like El. Okay, so we have something very strong and something very influential in the name of Ishmael. Okay, let's go back over here. So he went to Ishmael, which now we understand a little bit about the reference of that word, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael. So Ishmael is the first son of Abraham. I think that's what it said. And he's going to marry the daughter of Ishmael. Right? Which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebajoth, to be his wife. The sister of Nebajoth. So let's look at Nebajoth. 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 Pronunciation. Feminine plural. Fruitfulnesses. Nebajoth. A son of Ishmael, and the country settled by him. So Nebajoth is referring to the son of Ishmael and the country where he settled. Got one base root word here. to germinate, to spread the seed, basically. Flourish, to utter bringing forth. Make cheerful increase, spreading of a particular bloodline or a people. Okay. All right, let's turn that back off. Now, let's read it again. Then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael's, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebajoth. Nebajoth being another son, to be his wife. And Jacob went out of Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place and put them for his pillows, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder, Jacob's ladder, of course, I'm assuming. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up upon the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. Sounds like DNA, which we were just talking about right here, because we understand the definitions of the words. It's talking about the spreading of the seed, and now here we go talking about a ladder that reaches heaven. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up upon the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God ascending and descending upon it. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father, and God of Isaac. The land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. Okay? Now you understand that verse. You should understand that much better than maybe you ever have. Definitely better than I ever have. Let's read it one more time. And behold, the Lord stood above it, the ladder, and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father, and the God of Isaac. The land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. Okay? So this is at the time when Jacob had went upon to a certain place. He had spent the night because the sun was set, and he took some stones and set them as pillows for his head to sleep. And he had a dream and vision type thing where he seen a ladder reaching into heaven. And then, behold, the Lord stood upon it, made a statement to him, telling him he was going to give him the land. So Jacob, one of the two types of people for two lands, two different types of people for two different types of nations that we read earlier. Right? Right. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and into the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land, for I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of. So it's amazing how Rebekah, through her deception, and Jacob going along with it, set this wheel in motion, if you see what I'm saying. Through deception, this wheel continues to roll at this point. All right. Give me just 1 second and we'll continue going. Okay, I'm back, and let me explain something. When it says a stairway to heaven, and like I mentioned, what that's doing is that's giving you a word that is an image. Okay, like let's take a look before we continue on right here. Let's go back up here and let's look. Let's see. Hold on just 1 sec. Okay, let's highlight that. Now let's look at definitions again. And it says, and he dreamed, and behold, a ladder. Okay, let's look up the ladder. Okay. It says a staircase. Okay. You know how in a lot of these movies, they will show you, these occult movies, they will show you a winding staircase that winds. Either they'll show a view going up it or a view coming down, or even in other movies, they will show in videos, media, commercials, they'll show a stairway. Okay, a stairway. That is a very good image to understand the DNA, the code that to give you an idea that that's what it's talking about. But it's also talking. You could look at it because what we're talking about here is, I believe we're talking about here is a torus, okay, and particularly the center of the torus, which is the eye of the storm, which is the point of creation, can be point of destruction as well. But let's go ahead and look at this word. So you can use another image, because you're talking about images here of something that is we can't actually see. So we're saying a stairway. We could also say the core of a tree, and the limbs thereof and such. There's many ways to try to come to that image. Looking at the base word here, it says to mount up, especially like a turnpike, meaning, well, it says figuratively to exalt. We're talking about like the Tower of Babel, okay? That was what? It had stairs that ran all the way around the outside, the stairway to heaven. You see, they have been trying to be God, be like God, for thousands of years, ever since we've been here. And they've achieved various aspects of it many times, such as altering DNA and creating altered humans and beasts and combinations of both. But it says here a turnpike. You're talking about a road where the road spirals up, I think is what it's referring to here. To mount up, kind of like I've been talking about conical heads. Brings that to mind a little bit. It says figurative to exalt, reflectively to oppose, as by a dam. Cast up, exalt self, extol, make plain, raise up. Okay. All right. And a lot of times when you go in here too, it helps to, whoops, I clicked the wrong word, but if you go in here, like if I click this, and then I click this, you see all these verses over here. These are all the different times that this same numbered H5549 is used, and you can go in and read examples of how each one is used. Like in this case, it's, as yet exalteth thou thyself against my people, that thou wilt not let them go. Okay, and you can come to understand better what the possibilities of the meaning, because what this is a translation from Hebrew, and Hebrew was a much more complex language than our language. like this one word with these letters could represent many things. All right, so let's get back over here. And let's turn off the Strongs. And let's continue with the ladder story, right? Okay. Let's see, where was I at? Okay, right here. And Jacob awaked out of his sleep, and he said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I knew it not. So now this is Jacob. He's the one that has worked in cohort with his mother, Rebekah, in order to steal the birthright of the other person of another nation of people, of hairy people. Okay? And I bet you that's going to come back here soon enough. And he was afraid and said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. So it's again talking about the stairwell, the ladder, okay? The spinning stairwell going up to heaven. And y'all guys some of you will remember other videos that I've done talking about like a conch shell and how it looks and how it's related to the Taurus, which is the whirlwind that the Bible says that God speaks out of over and over and refers to heaven as a whirlwind. And then you've got the angels who fly in a wheel within a wheel. They fly inside of an image of heaven, I believe. It's how God works. And if anything that I say here is not in good intention or true, I pray that God will forgive me, because that is not the intention here. All right, so let's keep going here. Okay, where are we at? Let's see. Start talking and lose my spot. Okay, and he said this is a gate of heaven, talking about the image of the ladder. And when I use the word image, understand that I could mean that you could also show many other ways to, just like holding up a conch shell and looking at how it spirals up like the Tower of Babel, will give you the image that they're talking about, okay? And Jacob rose up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put for his pillows and set it up for a pillar, and poured oil upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel, but the name of that city was called Luz at the first. So he's changing, and he's saying this place is going to be called Bethel, similar to Bethlehem, but this is he's saying Bethel. Bethel is a known location and description of an area, again, right around Mount Hermon in the Middle East, that had giants. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so, and Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God. So he's like making a deal, like if you'll do all this for me and give me all this, then you will, and he can return to his father's house in peace. Then shall the Lord be his God. Okay, that's not quite the negotiation I would make, but all right, let's keep going. And this stone which I have set for a pillar. And a pillar is another reference to a tower or a Taurus, or because all the pillars that you see in the buildings, like on the White House and other places, those pillars, those are images of the stairway to heaven. They're images of the Taurus. They're images in a way. Again, an image, just an image. You can look at an apple from 500 different directions and cut it up in 500 different ways and look at it, and they're all in the image of the apple, no matter how you cut it. And the apple is an appropriate word for what we're saying here, what we're talking about. Okay. And the stone which I have set for pillars shall be God's house. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the 10th unto thee. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well there they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. Thither were all flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in its place. And Jacob said unto them, My brethren, whence be ye? And they said, Of Haran are we. Haran being another place in the areas surrounding Mount Hermon. And he said unto them, Know ye Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And he said unto them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And behold, Rachel, his daughter, cometh with the sheep. So, let's see. This appears that he's referring to his mother's brother that is in Lebanon, maybe? Okay, I think so. So let's keep going. So Rachel, his daughter, cometh with the sheep. And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, We cannot, until all the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. You know, this is telling a story that is in an image. It's a story to tell you another story if you have the ears to hear and the mind to be able to understand and decipher what's being said here. Okay? And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came from his father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. So Jacob apparently went against the cattle ranchers' directions as to when the cattle was, or the sheep was watered, and went ahead and opened it. So he went and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him into his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. So stayed with him for a month. Okay. Now I want to continue reading all of this right now because I know it's going to come right back around to some areas that I suspect. But I also have a couple of other things I want to show you or mix in here. Hold on just one second. Okay. I think I got it figured out a little bit how I want to do it here. So, those of you that have read this before know this goes on into this talking about the two women, daughters that were given to Jacob. And one of them was supposedly really beautiful, and she ends up barren. And the one that was barren ends up having children and starts to have a lot of children and conceived a lot of names that many of us are familiar with, such as Reuben, Simon, Levi, and so on. So let's pause this for a second. I want to show you a couple of other things. Okay, so I think what I want to do is I want to come over and pick back up where Esau comes back in, which is not far down the story here. Because again, I want to follow more Esau at the moment, but obviously it's going to lead in and around Jacob and all the others in the story, of course. So I think the next spot that it speaks about is Genesis 32:3. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. Okay, and then there's quite a bit right after that. So let's go to Genesis 32:3. Right there. Okay. We'll start from the top. And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, This is God's host. And he called the name of that place Mahanaim, something like that. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall ye speak unto Lord Esau. Thy servant Jacob saith thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. And I have oxen and asses, flocks and men servants and women servants. And I have sent to tell my Lord that I may find grace in thy sight. And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks and herds and the camels, into 2 bands, and said, If Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord saith unto me, Return thy country, and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. I am not worthy of the least of all these mercies, and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I am become two bands. Two bands. Kind of like the two bands of DNA, in a way. Kind of makes me think of, I'm not saying that's what this represents, for sure. Number 11, deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me, and the mother with the children. And thou sayest, I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. Now, who said that? Let's see. Make sure I understand this correctly. Okay. So Jacob was praying. He's praying to God to deliver him. And he says, and I think this is, again, God speaking back, like I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the seed of the sand, which cannot be numbered for multitude. Because, of course, he was one of two nations of people, two different types of people, one hairy people and one smooth people. And he lodged there that same night, and took of that which came into his hand a present for Esau his brother, 200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams. So 200 goats, 200 female goats, 20 male goats, and 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 mitch camels with their colts, 40 kine, and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals. And he delivered them into the hand of his servants. Every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, Pass over before me, and put a space betwixt drove and drove. And he commanded the foremost, saying, When Esau my brother meeteth thee, and asketh thee, saying, Whose art thou? And whither goest thou? Whither goest thou? And who are these before thee? Then thou shalt say, They be the servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau. And behold, also he is behind us. And so commanded he the second and the third, and all that followed the droves, saying, On this manner shall ye speak unto Esau, when ye find him. And say ye moreover, Behold, the servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goeth before me, and afterward I will see his face. Peradventure he will accept of me. So went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company. And he rose up that night, and took his 2 wives, and his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Jacob. And he took them, and sent them over the brook, and sent over. And he took them and sent them over the brook, and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there he wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, and he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore it is that thou dost ask after my name. And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, like a pineal gland. For I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. The pineal, the top of the cone, the top of heaven, the place where God sits, basically. That's what this is talking about. It's, again, talking about heaven. It's talking about the Taurus. It's talking about the stairway. And at the top of the stairway, basically, is this, it says the pineal. Now let's take a look at the Strong's definition of this pineal. Now I know it's a place in Israel, but let's see what else we can see. Okay. It says face of God. Penuel or Peniel, a place east of Jordan, also Penuel, the name of two Israelites. Okay, let's click on that. Let's look at the sub words. To turn, by implication, to face, to appear, to look, appear at, tide, behold, cast out, come on, corner, dawning, empty, go away, lie, look, mark. Mark. The word mark comes back up again. Kind of like how Cain got a mark put in by God, and a curse on anyone who hurt him. Pass away, prepare, regard, respect, to turn away, back, face. Okay. Now let's look at the other one, H410, real quick. As objective, mighty, especially the Almighty, but used also as a DT. Great, idle, mighty one, power, strong. Okay. So then the Peniel, again, showing that it is referring to the face of God, which exists on the peak of the throne in heaven. This is why they built the gosh, it's slipping my name now. The tower, Tower of Babel, is in their attempt to build idols in the image, or buildings which are still can be idols. An entire building can be an idol. An entire temple is and can be an idol. So they try to build an idol in the image of what they know that heaven is in, which is in the image of the Taurus. The word that I didn't pick, it's the word that is used in our common language. Okay. All right. So now that we understand better, let's continue on. So Jacob called the name of the place where he wrestled with a man all night long. It's almost like it's saying that basically he wrestled with, like wrestling with himself, or wrestling with God within himself. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the swine which shank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sign. We're going to have to look and see what we're talking about here. Okay. So, therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sign. Sign, we talking a tendon? By analogy, a tendon? See what base we're to crowd upon, to attack, to invade, to overcome. And the word for it is good, good, G-O-O-D-E. Okay. Let's come back over here and look again at the word shrink. In a sense of failure, rheumatic or crippled, from the incident to Jacob, which shrank. Okay. All right. Let's continue. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him and halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel would not eat not of Sion, which shrank, however you want to say it, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, and to this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the thigh of that shank. Okay. All right. So this is Esau and his brother coming together to deal with the deceptions of the past. Again, reminds me of the Garden of Eden, dealing with the deceptions of the past. Wow. Okay. All right, we'll jump over to next chapter, 33. And I think, here's Esau right here again. Okay. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children unto Leah, and unto Rachel, and unto the two handmaids. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost, Joseph hiding in the back. And he passed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the women and children, and said, Who art those with thee? And he said, The children which God hath graciously given thy servant. Then the handmaidens came near, they and their children, and bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near, and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near, and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And he said, What meanest thou by all this drove which I met? And he said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. keep that thou hast unto thyself. And Jacob said, Nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand. And therefore I have seen thy face, as though I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me. Something to do with the word present, Present. Receive my present. Something hit me in reference to that presence, present meaning time, now. Receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen their faces as I had seen the face of God. Okay, it'll probably come clear later. Take, I pray thee, my blessings that I brought to thee, because God hath dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it. And he said, Let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before thee. And he said unto him, My Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds are young are with me. And if men should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die. Let my Lord, I pray thee, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on softly according as the cattle that goeth before me, and the children be able to endure until I come unto my Lord into Sire. And Esau said, Let me now leave with thee some of the folk that are with me. And he said, What needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. It is interesting, of course, how he is seems to be referring pretty clearly earlier to Esau as his Lord. But then this might be right here in reference to Lord God, in heaven above, kind of reference, maybe. Okay, 16. So Esau returned that day on his way unto Sire. And Jacob journeyed to Succoth and built him an house and made booths for his cattle. Therefore, the name of the place was called Succoth. And Jacob came to Shalem, and a city of Shoshim, which is in the land of Canaan, which he came from Pandanaram, and pitched his tent before the city, and bought a parcel of a field where he spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Sichem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected there an altar and called it, well, let's take a look at that. Called it El Elohim Israel. Well, anyways, let's look. See if it gives us appropriate pronunciation. El Elohei Israel. Yeah. Okay. The mighty God of Israel. And I think somebody out there is yelling Elohim, but it just doesn't pronounce out that way. Okay. All right. Now I want to go back. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump next chapter. Because, again, I'm following Esau here, really, is what I'm doing. So let's find Esau again. And we can do that like this. See where he comes back in at. You remember this one? Okay. I'm looking here. This is doing, reading, understanding together all at once. Let's see, where are we at here? Hold on. So this is 34, the beginning of 34. So I know I'm down here. Okay. So we were at 34, then 35. 35, Esau comes back in. Which doesn't mean we shouldn't read 34. But I'm more interested in chasing Esau right now. The hairy man. Okay, well, let's go ahead over here. 35:1. And then you've got 35:29. The name Esau is mentioned again. And then right into 36. Okay, and then it starts talking about, now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Edom? Sounds like Adam and Eve, Edom kind of thing. Okay. So we'll get to 36, but right now we're going to 35. Yeah. Okay, 35. Here we go again. And God said unto Jacob, Arise, go up to Bethel, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother. So go make an altar that's like the stairway to heaven, like the Tower of Babel. Something in that image. It's going to be that kind of image. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, Put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments. And let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make there an altar unto God, who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hand, and all their earrings which were in their ears, and Jacob hid them under the oak which was by Shechem. You notice, ladies, how he talks about strange gods and having earrings in your ears and things like that. It's for you to decide. I'm not the judge. And I am journeyed, and the terror of God was upon the cities that were round about them, and they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. So Jacob came to Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is Bethel, he and all the people that were with him. And he built there an altar, and called the place El Bethel, because there God appeared unto him when he fled from the face of his brother. But Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried beneath Bethel under an oak, and the name of it was called Alan Bakuth, and it was an oak that Rebekah's nurse, Deborah, was buried under. Okay. And God, and again, that's talking about an oak, a tree. A tree is in the image of heaven. It's in the image of the earth. It's in the image of the Taurus. It's in the image of heaven and God himself, I believe. So that's important. And God appeared unto Jacob again when he came out of Padanaram, and blessed him, And God said unto him, Thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. And God said unto him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, to thee I will give it, and to thy seed after thee will I give the land. Israel. Makes sense, right? Okay. And God went up from him into the place where he talked with him. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place, a pillar again. Let's look at definition of pillar. Yes, let's do that. Pillar. All right, pillar. Pillar. Pronounced something like mats to say bow. Mats to say bow. Something like that. Feminine causative principle of, let's look at the base word in a second. Something stationed, i.e. a column or memorial stone. By analogy, an idol, garrison, standing, image, pillar. Okay, now let's look at the base word. Appointed, deputy, erect, established, Haran, by mistake for a proper name. Okay, lay, officer, pillar, present, rear up, set, over, up, settle, sharpen, establish, to stand. Obviously, the root word is based into the construction of said pillar. But I promise you, this pillar is a word or an image for the image of heaven. I mean, if you were going to make something as an idol to God, you would certainly think you would build it in its image, right? Which is why all of the Egyptian women would wrap their head and try to make them conical, because their god that they knew of, Osiris, and the other ones that had the long conical heads. Yeah, conical, kind of like a spiral, kind of like a torus, you know. Okay, where we at? Where are we at? Let's see. Okay, right there. And Jacob called the name of the place where God spake with him Bethel. And they journeyed from Bethel, and there was but a little way to come to Prath, I think, at Prath. And Rachel travailed, and she had hard labor. And it came to pass, when she was in hard labor, that the midwife said unto her, Fear not, thou shalt have this son also. And it came to pass, as her soul was departing, for she died, that she called his name Benoni, but his father called him Benjamin. And Rachel died, and was buried in the way to Parath, and which is Bethlehem. So once again, here we've led to Bethlehem, where Christ was born of an immaculate birth. And we know from reading this that it seems like either Jacob or Esau or both were an immaculate birth. I'm not saying it's fact. I am just doing my work and keeping things as thoughts. Okay? And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave, that is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day. And Israel journeyed and spread his tent. Now, Jacob is now Israel, Jacob of Israel, of course. And spread his tent beyond the tower of Edar. Okay. And it came to pass, when Israel dwelt in that land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Ishtar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan. Wait a minute here. The sons of Bilhah, and it came to pass, when Israel dwelt in the land, and Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and another child was made, and the sons of Bilhah. You see here, Reuben went and laid with Bilhah, with Bilhah's concubine, and produced a child. And the sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, were Dan and Naphtali. All right, we got to look those up. Got to look at the definitions. They're not just names. Okay. Now, Dan, we're very familiar with, so I'm going to start with Naphtali first. Naphtali, my wrestling. Remember, she was having, wait a minute here. Well, hang on. She was having a tumultuous birth, and she died. Who is that again? Let's make sure who that is. Hard labor. They journeyed. Rachel travailed. But Rachel's handmaid, the sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, were Dan and Naphtali. The name Naphtali just really interests me for some reason. I think I know what it is, but just bear with me here for a second. So Rachel travailed, and she had a hard labor, and she died. And when she was in hard labor, that the midwives said unto her, Fear not, thou shalt have this son also. And it came to pass, as her soul was departed, she died, and she called his name Benoni, but his father called him Benjamin. Rachel died and was buried in Bethlehem. Okay. And the sons of Bilhah, Rachel, the handmaid, Dan, and Naphtali. All right, let's go back over here and just read what the definition it says here. My wrestling, Naphtali, a son of Jacob, with the tribe descending from him and its territory. Naphtali. Yeah. Okay. And let's just click on Dan and see what it says. Judge Dan, like my name, Daniel. One of the sons of Jacob, also the tribe descended from him, and its territory, likewise a place in Palestine, colonized by them, Daniel. And Dan is a name that I have read quite a bit about being associated with redheaded people. We'll just leave it at that for the moment, because I don't want to say something that I'm not sure of yet. Okay, I'm looking at root word, a primitive root, a straight course, cell direct with a straight course, and that's the root word of Dan, to sail ahead with a straight course. In other words, a narrow path. Okay. All right, so let's come on back over here. Back to here. Okay. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, Gad and Asher, these are the sons of Jacob, which were born to him in Padanaram. Boy, these guys really took a lot of wives and had a lot of children right within their own bloodline back then. And Jacob came unto Isaac, his father. Jacob came into Isaac, his father, unto Mamre, unto the city of Arba, which is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac sojourned. And the days of Isaac were 180. So it's calling him Israel back up here. Then it comes down here and calls him Jacob again. And Jacob came unto Isaac his father. Now, okay, I'll just continue. And Isaac gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days. And his son Esau and Jacob buried him. Okay, yeah. I was thinking, okay, wait a minute. Didn't Isaac die? But he didn't say he died, but now he's dead. Okay. And it says, and his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. Okay. Next is 36, which is going to be the generations of Esau, who is Edom. The generations of Esau, which is Edom. And we're going to go ahead immediately and look at definition of Edom. Red. That's the first word. Red. Like it said that he was a red, covered foot to head in red hair. And the definition of Edom is red. Edom, the elder twin brother of Jacob, hence the region occupied by him, Edom, Edomites, Edomia. Okay, Edomites meaning people from that. And that reminds me the word "ite," because it'll come back to me. There's something interesting. I'll probably mention it here in a minute. All right, let's look at the base word here. It said red, and I clicked on the base word, and it says rosy red Rudy. Okay, another base word, to show blood in the face. You know how a red-headed person can, their skin's normally flush a little bit, and they show blood, or if they get emotional, they show it real easy. Okay. All right. Back over here. This should get interesting here, and I know we've been going quite a while here. And we might find a place to stop, and we're going to have to at some point, but trying to make this video really, it'll never be complete, but kind of a good chapter, you might say. All right. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan. Okay. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan. Abdah, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. We're talking about giants here. Elon the Hittite, Elon the giant. What color is Elon Musk's hair? Is it red? Does he have really milky skin? He does. But that's coincidence, right? I doubt it. And, okay. I don't even know how to pronounce this name, but it says, and Aholibama, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zebeon the Hivite. So you got the Hittites and the Hivites. And Bashemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth. Wow, a lot of mixing going on here. But there are definitely, these are fallen angel bloodlines that we're talking about here. And the word fallen actually means to create, to make manifest. We might run across that, and I'll show you if we do. And Adar bare to Esau Eliphaz, and Bashemath bare Reuel. And let me see how to pronounce this. Let me look at the pronunciation. Oholibama. Oholibama. Says, tent of the height, Oholibama, the wife of Esau, Oholibama. Let's look at the root words. I think I know what one of them might be. From these are the root words, a tent of height, blah, blah, blah. So let's look at the first one, a tent. As clearly conspicuous from a distance, covering, dwelling place, tabernacle, tent. Something that has a raised center, I would kind of say. Primitive root to be clear, shine. Okay, let's go back and look at the second base. From an unused root, meaning to be high. An elevation, height, high place. Again, Bama. We're talking about like Obama. And Barak means lightning. Remember that? Certainly related here. Okay, but not exactly to that man at the moment, but Bama. It's an elevation, height, a place, wave. Okay. And we looked at the other one, and it said like a tent, a raised, something with a raised center, like a tabernacle or a home. Okay. All right. So we looked at Oholibama to understand that better. Let me turn off the Strongs so we can see a little better. And Oholibama bare Jaush and Jalam and Korah. These are the sons of Esau, which were born unto him in the land of Canaan. And we should probably look into every one of their names, and I'm sure we ultimately will. And Esau took his wives and sons and his daughters and all the persons of his house and his cattle and his beasts and all of his substance, which he had got in the land of Canaan, and went into the country from the face of his brother Jacob. Went into the country, the mountains and the woods and the trees, the country. out of the city of tents. For their riches were more than that they might dwell together. For their riches were more than that they might dwell together. And the land wherein they were strangers could not bear them because of their cattle. Thus dwelt Esau in the mount Seir. What am I? Let me look at this real quick. 8. Seir, rough, Seir, Seir. Okay, that's how you say it. Seir. A mountain of Idumea and its aboriginal occupants, also one in Palestine. Aboriginal occupants. It's like saying the original people or people who have been there for a long time. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Let's see, where was I at? Oh, right here. Thus dwelt Esau in the Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons. Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau. Reuel, the son of Bashmath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omor, Zaphor, Gatam, and Kenaz. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son. Say that 10 times in a row. And she bare to Lisa, gosh. Well, let's define it and try to pronounce it correctly. Eliphaz is what I'm saying. Eliphaz. Well, I'm saying it right. What do you know? It says Eliphaz, god of gold. The name of one of Job's friends and a son of Esau. Okay. Son of, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's continue on. And these are the sons of Reuel, Nathath, and Zerah, Shema, and Mizah. These were the sons of Bashmath, Esau's wife. And these were the sons of Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zebeon, Esau's wife. And she bare to Esau Jeush and Jalim and Korah. These were the dukes of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn son of Esau, Duke Teman, Duke Omar, Duke Zephyr, Duke Kenaz, Duke Korah, Duke Gatnom, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons. Okay, let's look at the word Duke. These were the dukes, the Duke boys. Aluf says familiar, a friend, also gentle, hence a bullock, as being tame, applied although masculine to a cow, and so chieftain, as notable like neat cattle, captain, duke, friend, governor, ox. Kind of reminds me of the word slave. Primitive root to associate with, hence to learn, to causally teach, to learn, to teach, to utter. And I would throw in the word break. Could be wrong, but we'll see. Let's go back over. These were the dukes. The dukes. Now, how does that play into them being the dukes? They were compared to a animal, but well-behaved animal. Okay. These were the dukes of the sons of Esau. And I read through all that already. Let's go to 17. And these are the sons of Reuel, Esau's son, Duke Nathan, Duke Zerah, Duke Shimon, Duke Mazah. These are the dukes that came from Reuel in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Bashmath, Esau's wife. I don't think I read that yet, but anyways. And these are the sons of Holibama, Esau's wife, Duke Jewess, Duke Jalam, Duke Kara, and these are the dukes that came from Holibama, the daughter of Anna, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Esau, who is Edom, and these are their dukes. These are the sons of Seir, the Horite. These are the sons of Seir, the Horite. Again, we're talking about Nephilim bloodline here. Horite. Who inhabited the land. Lotan and Shabal and Zebion and Anna and Dishon and Ezer and Dishon. And these are the dukes of the Horites. The children of Seir in the land of Edom. And the children of Lotan were Hori and Hamam, and Lotan's sister was Timnah. What will end up having to happen is, to really understand this, is you're going to have to follow each one of these people in the storylines and see where they go. But you have to do them individually, or it all just mixes up and doesn't make sense. That's why I'm following Esau. And, of course, Jacob is there in the story as well, and it's very important as well. But we're talking about two people of two nations, is what it said. One was red-haired, head to toe, and the other one was smooth-skinned. Okay. And the children of Shabal were these Alvan and Manahath and Ebon and Shopho and Onam. And these are the children of Zebayan. Let's see if we can. Let's just keep going. Zebayan, both Ajah and Anna. And was that Anna that found the mules in the wilderness as he fed the asses of Zebion his father. And the children of Anna were these Dishon and Holibama, the daughter of Anna. And these are the children of Dishon, Himdan, Eshban, Ithran, and Cheran, the children of Ezer. And a lot of children and a lot of lineages to chase, isn't it? Okay, let's see where we at here. Oh, and these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom before there reigned any king over the children of Israel. And Bel, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And Bela died, and Jabob, the son of Zerah, and Bozrah reigned in his stead. Okay. And he died, and Husham, the land of Timnah, reigned in his stead. And he died. And Hadad, the son of Bedad, who smote Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead, and the name of the city was Avoth. And he smote Midian. Let's look at the definition of Midian. Midian is son of Abraham, also his country, and collectively his descendants. Midian, Midianites. And they pronounce it Midian. Midian. Okay? I am sure by the end of this ultimate study, which normally I do all this without recording it, I just sit for hours and hours and hours and hours and days, and, well, the last decade, and just go through things methodically. This is just the first pass. I then have to go back through it again multiple times. Okay. So, and Husham died, and Hadad, the son of Bedad, who smote Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead, and the name of the city was Avith. The Hadad died in Shalem of Mazrekah, reigned in his stead, and Shalem died in the Saul of Rehoboth by the river, reigned in his stead, and Saul died in Baal-Hanan. Funny how this name Baal keeps coming back up, right? B-A-A-L, Hanan, the son of Archbor, reigned in his stead. And Behalan, the son of Archbor, died, and Hagdar reigned in his stead, and the name of the city was Paul. And his wife's name was Mehethabel. The bell on the end is interesting. Mehethabel, the daughter of Matred, and the daughter of Menzahab. And these are the names of the dukes that came of Esau according to their families after their place by the names Duke Timnah, Duke Alva, Duke Jetheth, Duke Holibama, Duke Elon or Elah, Duke Pinon, Duke Kenaz, Duke Timon, Duke Midzar, Duke Magdal, Duke Iram. These are the dukes of Edom, according to their habitations of the land of their possession. He is Esau, the father. Okay. Esau had a father, right? No. For his mother, Rebekah, was barren, and Joseph prayed to God, and then the two sons came. Rebekah was able to have two children, and God said that these are two different people for two different races of humans. Is that not what we've read? I think it is. And then here it says, he is Esau, the father of the Edomites. He was the beginning. He was the kind of like the Adam. He was the father of the Edomites. Wow. Wow. So now we know we're following two different bloodlines, don't we? You know, two different bloodlines that fall from Rebekah. And she was the deceiver who worked the deception to take away Esau's birthright, to where he would have been blessed by God and by his father, and would have maybe taken over Israel and been even named Israel. But that didn't happen, did it? Esau was cheated out of his birthright, but yet he is still the father of the Edomites. Wow. This is just amazing. Okay. Let's go back to the search, because again, we're mainly following Esau, but we may end up having to switch a couple of gears here. Okay. See, we're in chapter 37 right now. So let's go down to there. Thirty-seven coming up. Okay, 37. Genesis. Okay, so that's the last time Esau is mentioned in Genesis. So then you have to jump books in order to, well, some of it will be probably repeating some of the things that were said previously. And then we're going to also have new language. New language in following the story of Esau and following the two bloodlines, the two sets, the two groups of humanity. I know some of this, at least in my mind, doesn't make exact sense. But that's why we're studying it, so that maybe one day we will understand. But I'm going to keep those thoughts to myself for now. And in our next video, we're going to look into Esau and what the other books have to say about him. Look at all these other books talking about Esau. Now you can go ahead and read into this some more, and I think you will find a lot of interesting things. I'm already seeing it just looking at this, and I'm just biting at the bit to go ahead and read this. But again, my eyes are getting a little weak from reading so much and looking at this screen. So we're going to do this next time. We're going to start where Genesis leaves off, which then goes from there. It's going to go into Deuteronomy, and we're going to go through Chronicles. We're going to look at Jeremiah. We're going to look at every other book that talks about Esau. I mean, look at here, this where it says, "And thy mighty men of Teman shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter." Wow. And here's another one. It says, "And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it." The story is getting good. And we're going to get all into it. We're going to look into these books and read all around it and follow this story, because I believe that it is fantastic and important. And yeah. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Know that I love you, and know that our Father in heaven loves you as well. Okay? He would like me to tell you that we are being taught. Sometimes when you teach children, you have to use the rod. Sometimes when you teach children, you have to show them something by letting them fail and learn it the hard way. Right? Okay. Anyways, I love you. Our Father in heaven loves you. And if you like this style of what I'm doing here, make sure you let me know. All right. Talk to you again real soon. And we'll go from there. Talk to you real soon again later.